Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Be a Better Landlord. You're a landlord, I'm a landlord, and today we're going to talk about an issue that can come up sometimes when you're trying to find a new tenant. Maybe they aren't the best tenant on paper, and trust me, screening a tenant is always a must, but there are times where a so-so tenant could be great with a little something extra. How can you protect yourself in this situation? Well, one of these ways to protect yourself is called a guarantor. You know who needs a guarantor often? College students. So if you're a landlord in a college town or you have a bunch of applicants with poor credit history, consider using a guarantor as a safety net. In this video, we'll go over what a guarantor is, how they're different from co-signers, and things to consider from a legal standpoint. So what is a guarantor? Well, they are someone who will sign a lease or an addendum to accept financial responsibility when a tenant falls behind. They're not liable until something goes wrong, and they're typically used when a tenant has no credit history, no income, and oftentimes, students fall into these categories. Guarantors are often friends, they're family members, parents, or even sometimes there's third-party services that offer this as well. A guarantor agrees to take responsibility for the tenant's financial obligations, including rent payments, damages, there's fees, and they typically don't live in this unit and have no right to occupy it as well. They must have a strong credit history, and many landlords seek at least a 3 to 5 time income towards monthly rent. They want that protection. They're only responsible when a tenant falls behind, unlike a co-signer, which we'll get into later. Often landlords require guarantors to put up collateral too, just in case. Ultimately, they're just this safety net that backs up a tenant and makes sure that there's some financial responsibility in case things go wrong. So we talked a lot about guarantors, but what about co-signers? Are they the same? And you might be thinking that, and it does sound awfully similar. And hey, you know what? You're right. Like guarantors, a co-signer can be a family member, a friend, or somebody with a close connection, but there are a few key differences. Some of those differences are co-signers are often listed on the same lease agreement, and it's not in a separate document. Co-signers accept full responsibility for the lease from the beginning, and that's not just when something goes wrong, the entire time. They're liable immediately and equally with the tenant for rent, damages, and other lease terms. And they're treated like a co-tenant. They have rights to the property, they can live on it, unlike a guarantor who can't do those things. That's why you'll likely see a lot of co-signers when people are roommates or they want to share a rental. They live together often. Many prefer to be a co-signer because they will gain rights to the unit, whereas a guarantor really has no rights. They're just there for financial backing. So we talked about co-signers and then guarantors, but what about some of the legal things to consider? One thing, as always, when we talk about legality is understanding your city and your state rules surrounding a guarantor is critical. That's because not all guarantor agreements are one size fits all. If you're using a template from the internet, beware, because they really do vary from state to state. Some jurisdictions require a guarantor's liability to be explicitly stated in the lease or in a separate contract. Otherwise, they might not be enforceable. The contract must outline the guarantor's obligations. Guarantors should receive a copy of the lease and all documents to fully understand all the terms they're agreeing to. And be sure to document everything in writing. None of these handshake deals. Do it the right way, everybody. So if you decide to use a guarantor, be sure that you screen them just as you would any tenant. Be sure to check their identity, do a credit report, proof of income, make sure you know who you're working with. So depending on your situation, choosing between a guarantor or co-signer might be difficult. If you choose a co-signer, TurboTenant can help you draft a legally enforceable lease agreement in just 15 minutes. It'll take care of all those state-specific rules, and you can rest easy knowing you have financial security. So subscribe to our channel so you can learn more about how to be a better landlord, and even better, go to TurboTenant.com and sign up for a free account and start building a lease today.